Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's INetCoder again. We're bringing you something brand new today. This something's going to be a little bit of one going, and I want to let you guys know this is going to be a pretty exciting thing where you're going to be able to get like a one-stop update on what's been going on. For this first one, we've got a few days worth of news that I think you can use. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bounce over to where the rest of the team is, and we're going to get these guys involved. Okay, guys, we're hot and live, and right now, I guess we're going to take this over to Tenacity.
Thank you so much, Coder. We're so excited to introduce our first Quniverse news. This will be volume one on this fine Saturday, March 24th. We'll dive right into it with a little bit of my favorite to know, the Russian collusion conclusion, and it's officially over. I hope you guys caught that. We did have the final findings that came out from the U.S. House Intelligence Committee, and it is over. They did not find that the POTUS or his administration had no evidence, was the official word, I believe. And to get into the meat of things, we've actually gone in into it was a lot to take in. I'm sure if you guys saw that, there's a lot of findings, but if you get an opportunity, we suggest looking at them, get to know some of them. There's also a few we've noticed. There's one in particular that is classified that we're still researching, but we'll provide you the link that you guys can dive into. But it is worth a glance to understand actually what was in those final findings. And with that, I'm going to turn that over to Spec.
Thank you. Been a busy week in the stock markets, folks. A lot of news, big talk of tariffs. Thursday, market closed down 724 points. It's all about tariffs. Tariffs Europe, tariffs China. Here a tariff, there a tariff. Anyway, President Trump will sign an executive memo that will enforce 50 billion in tariffs against China over IP. That's intellectual property theft, an administration official tells reporters. So that came out Thursday. Immediately following on Friday morning, as the markets opened in Asia, there was a sea of red. So the China stocks, commodities crash as trade wars escalate. Oh, and just as a little bit of humor, boy, I guess that means Boeing's going to demand at least 2 new wars to make up for the stock drop. Thanks, Zero Hedge. And also, flashing forward to our executive branch resignations, we had H.R. McMaster out and John Bolton in. H.R. McMaster has resigned from his post as National Security Advisor. John Bolton has been tasked as his replacement by the POTUS. Along with that, we also saw John Dowd take a hike, which was a lead lawyer in a Mueller probe. And unfortunately, as it seems, he's been increasingly ignoring advice. From the Zero Hedge article, it says in a major development from Mueller's probe of Trump collusion with Russia obstruction of justice, moments ago, New York Times reported that Trump's lead lawyer for the special counsel investigation, John Dowd, resigned on Thursday as Trump was increasingly ignoring his advice. There's an interesting tweet about Dowd as well from Judge Napolitano on John Dowd's resignation. It says this is the most important member of the legal team who viewed every document that was surrendered to Bob Mueller. Along with that, we also saw John McGahn depart, or planning to depart, rather. He was also a former member of the FEC and political advisor and played a role in Comey's firing. If you want to follow up on those, you can follow the links below.
And we've got the Kings fans crossed, which cross is scheduled during game. Fans turn away. So basically, how to sum it up, the Sacramento protesters blocked the fans from an estimated 10,000 paid sports goers were turned away from access to the event, and the demonstration ended with no arrests made. Sacramento Police Captain Norm Leong wrote on Twitter at 9 p.m. during the NBA's game's fourth quarter. And then there's a verified account. Interagency exercise about to begin. Sleep training arena, very realistic, but don't worry, only an exercise. Fire trucks, helicopters, ambulances, victims, actors, and media. We're just training to serve you better. So that came out, and I'm going to hand over to Spectre to go into the rest of it.
Yeah, so along those lines, per InfoWars article here on the BLM protesters' descent on Sacramento, there's a nice little nugget inside there pertaining to the California National Guard news release along the lines of what Linc was just talking about there. Says Cal Guard to join first responders for terrorism exercise at Sleep Train Arena on Sonoma Raceway. Just so happened to be about the same time all this stuff was going on with these quote unquote protesters. Very interesting. Over to you.
Thanks, Greg. So POTUS signs the Omnibus bill and says never again. So Friday, President Trump signed the 2,232-paged behemoth budget bill. He did remark, while we can be disappointed in some ways, we have to also know that there are a lot of strings pulling everybody in different directions. President Trump also said he was signing as a matter of national security. A Zero Hedge posted an article about the base outrage and the theater of POTUS explaining he was forced to sign the bill. Many supporters are not pleased and see this as capitulation. And Coulter even sniped via Twitter, "Congratulations, President Schumer." James Woods also jumped into the fray. His tweet has some strong language, so you can check that out by clicking this link here. There was also a major tweet storm from Senator Rand Paul. He pointed out the volume of the bill and the randomness of some of the spending. So what's in this thing really? Here's a quickie look at Omnibus allocations. These are only a few because, you know, it's 2,000 pages and not everybody's read it. So what's these allocations are the sticking points with Trump's base. But what's interesting is a memo that recently surfaced. So a letter from POTUS to Speaker Paul Ryan kind of came to view. And that's totally thanks to several anons for finding the letter. It was hiding in plain sight on whitehouse.gov. So you can read it for yourself and you can kind of click the link below. Basically, in a nutshell, President Trump can utilize the funds from the omnibus bill as he sees fit. So that's pretty interesting. And personally, this is totally my opinion. I'm thinking Trump card played. And Tenacity is up next with some interesting True Pundit info.
Thank you so much, Juniper. And sorry for snickering there. Definitely another big story that we've been following is the True Pundit, another favorite and lots of information that comes through there. We've been quite a bit of concern because if you haven't been following Thomas Paine, they have been really breaking a very big story around Las Vegas, and they started dropping some information that they have more and more as their story grows. Well, as that occurs, it appears that they're getting quite a bit of death threats, if you can imagine. And he's actually gone to, I guess, get our help to make sure that everyone knows that he has, there's a lot of heat on their story. There's a lot of people that are coming after him personally, his family, as well as the news themselves, the True Pundit as a whole. So with that, we are covering this very closely. As you see, Thomas Paine, he has quite a bit of tweets here, and this one in particular that came out on March 22nd, reports from DC sources that my life is in danger based on the Las Vegas shooting series True Pundit is publishing. I always like to shine the light on such threats for all to see. That also means intel is right on the money. Thanks for helping verify, Deep State. Also, he also tweeted later that day, that we have some bombs coming in Las Vegas. If anything happens to me before that, the intel will still be published at True Pundit. Robin Gritz and other FBI DEA have volunteered to investigate my ultimately untimely death, as well. So whacking me won't solve the damn thing. Business as usual. So excuse the French, but that's straight from Mr. Thomas Paine. So big story. And we want to share with you some of the details that he's actually uncovering. There's a lot here, and we won't go through all of it, but some of the highlights, and this is just a summary that you can find on the True Pundit, which it highlights the top FBI brass are involved. He notes Antifa, as well as ISIS-like businessman from Turkey and such. So it's, again, you'll notice some themes of almost out of a spy versus spy novel versus a real life scenario that has impacted quite a bit of lives. So we look forward to seeing more information, and definitely keep an eye out for Thomas Paine, because we want to keep him safe. And with that, I would like to turn it back over to Linc.
Right, and we've got another article that goes into the FBI informant incriminates Clintons. And the FBI undercover informant, William Douglas Campbell, who helped the FBI prove Russia's uranium industry engaged in criminal activity, says congressional Democrats' recent attacks on his credibility were insulting to his medical disability, and ignored the fact that agents recently asked him for fresh testimony about former President Clinton and Hillary Clinton. And when you look at that video, it's quite interesting to watch how he's been badly treated by them. And then we're going on to Julian Assange drops a bomb, implicates British government. And this came from a Twitter thread that explains the links that could implicate the British government in the creation of the fake news anti-Trump Russia dossier that has been repeated for about the last 14 months. But interestingly, when you have a look at the names involved, it's an international who's who, including politicians, diplomats, and spy agencies. So same thing, it reads like something out of a spy novel. So that's a very interesting development. And anyway, I'll hand over to Spectre again.
Very good. So Facebook, how many of you guys have been hearing the stuff going on in the news about Facebook and Cambridge Analytica? Yeah, there's been a ton of information dropped here in this last week. So we're going to put together a pretty big piece here. Look forward to seeing that come through here shortly. But we're working on that big piece. It takes a deep dive into that. And stay tuned. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe on the button above. Stay on top of all of our videos. In the meantime, though, Linc, who you just heard from, also put together a quick little op-ed on that. I'd encourage you to take a look at that as well.
Okay, thank you guys. Definitely appreciate it. First and foremost is INetCoder coming to you guys again, and we're going to go over the resources used. We got Breitbart News, Conservative Treehouse, Daily Caller, Gateway Pundit, Hacker News, InfoWars. We also have Natural News, News Wars, Town Hall, True Pundit, YouTube, and Zero Hedge. And of course, you know, all of the links are provided. And I want to kind of go over some of our Patriot partners. For those that may not know, I would like to call out We the People 24/7 Patriot Soapbox. Please follow that link. Go over there, subscribe. They are a 24/7 program on YouTube. They're constantly running a lot of different people over there. They do a whole lot of Q decoding as the Q drops come in. I'd also like to call out Coffee and Freedom. Okay, this is also another program. If you go over to subscribe, make sure that you're clicking notified on all these subscriptions so you know when new information drops. But Coffee and Freedom, they're going to have a whole lot of different programs and shows and different things like that coming out for all of you guys to view. I'd also like to call out our friend Gran Torino. Gran Torino is definitely across the pond. You know, he's one of our good people that is also reporting in his country over in Ireland. And we have Dr. Jerome Corsi. Dr. Corsi, you know, he's a renowned author and expert decoder in Q-related issues. Very, very involved in this, so please go check him out. I believe he does daily videos also. We have Discord. Please join the Discords, guys, because that's where you can do a video / audio / text chat environment. And so once you get the Discord installed, then you'll return back here and make sure you click on those links so you can join the specific servers inside of that program. So again, guys, you know, our Patriot partners are really doing a whole lot of good stuff for us patriots. And just quickly, I want to go through the fact that we have a fair use statement. And this fair use statement is making sure that we're not stepping on anybody's toes, because that's not what this is all about. Okay, guys? And so moving on, I want to introduce the staff. First and foremost, I guess, me, I'm INetCoder. I'm a lifelong patriot technologist. I've formed this team of individuals to bring you the clearest and most accurate news, both in the U.S. and abroad. We believe all in our Constitution and all other legal rights provided. We stand as one when we stand as all. Okay? First, I guess, on our staff is Breaking Spectre. He's our resident Library of Congress on all things geopolitical, financial, health, wellness, and more. So yeah, we definitely appreciate the work that Spec does. So we also have Juniper, our resident RL journalist. Her reach is wide and knowledge is deep. She also does a whole lot of really good stuff for us. Redcord is our in-house jack of all trades and mistress of none. She's actually the glue that kind of holds it all together as our virtual office manager. I'm moving on to Missing Linc. He's our international undercover reporter. We never know the kind of gems he may find, and he finds a lot. And then, of course, we have Tenacity. She's our team PM, OCD conductor, and autist. Hyperactive data chick. So there's a big story to that. We'll report on that later. So newest member is Wolverine. He's our deep nationalist patriot, military intel expert, and a true patriot warrior. So again, guys, we definitely appreciate you listening. We're gonna have a lot more things coming toward you real soon. And until then, we'll see you on the other side.